What is up, CineNerds?
I am JP.
And I'm Ryan.
We are your CineNerds.
And you are CineNerds. We're all CineNerds.
CineNerds.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That's our new sound effects. We're going to do that all the time for you. I'm sure you appreciate it.
So, CineNerdsPodcast.com. Go check us out. You can check all of our new episodes out. You can check reviews. You can check written reviews. You can check all of our links there to our Apple Podcast, to our Spotify, to our shop, where you can order a nice little hoodie, T-shirt, sticker, whatever you want to get.
And if you guys are feeling spunky, whatever, share that website, share our socials, share whatever you got. I think I repeat this all the time, but you guys know artists can only persevere if they have support of those who like what they're doing. So if you guys wouldn't mind, it's the easiest thing in the world to do. Just hit that share button and let everyone know about us.
And, be sure to go write a review on our Facebook, on our Apple Podcast.
He's asking too much now. It's out of control.
Out of control.
Just share the shit.
Share. So, what are we doing today, Ryan?
We are doing something that I think all of you guys might be interested in. This is the most anticipated movies of 2025.
I'm excited.
I am beyond excited.
There's a lot of there's a lot of films, mainstream films I'm excited for 2025. There's some lesser known ones I'm pretty hyped about as well. So I've got a lot of honorable mentions, but we're going to talk about our top 5 that we're most excited. We're going to give you some honorable mentions.
Well, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Sorry, but I was just going to say I'm genuinely curious about this one because this is one of those top 5. JP and I try not to talk to each other about this. We don't say anything until the episode's happening, so you guys see legitimate responses and see. But I'm curious to see if we have any of the same crossover in this episode.
Yeah,
so.
I feel like we probably will. If not, I feel like even if you have something on your list, I feel like it's probably going to be in my honorable mentions.
Maybe.
Or vice versa, maybe. Possibly.
Okay.
You want to go first? You want me to go first? We're going to rock, paper, scissors again.
Let's rock, paper, scissors this shit. Remember, it's rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
I got you.
Right. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Yeah.
You win these every time.
I don't know about every time, but usually we tie for like 4 or 5 before one of us wins. So I'll take the win. So go ahead, start.
All right. So my number 5, and I'm a huge fan of the original. It's a remake, and you're looking at my list.
I can't see it.
Yeah.
I can't, even with my glasses on. So these glasses primarily help me see things far away, but up close, I'm like, this is all blur. So I've got to I'll probably take this off in a minute here.
So my number 5 is a remake, and I'm a huge fan of the original, but I'm super excited to see what they do with this remake.
Oh, I know what you're gonna say. I didn't pick this one, but
Do you know what I'm talking about? Bring up?
I do, because you were just talking about it online the other day.
Did I?
Yes, yeah, so you shared a thing about it, didn't you? Well, let's see what it is. Let's see if we go from there.
It's a Stephen King film.
Oh no, we're definitely not.
Yeah, this is a Stephen King, originally a Stephen King film that he penned under
The Running Man.
He penned under a different name, The Running Man remake.
And Richard Bachman was his pen name.
Yes. So this is one I'm super excited about. And if you watch the original, Jesse fucking Ventura's in it, Arnold's in it. It's a game show where they're killing people. The point of it is to survive and beat the gladiators.
But it's all in the original.
It's all propaganda. It's just like RoboCop,
because they're all actually the winners are all actually killed and dead. So
it's all propaganda. A lot like RoboCop, a lot like Starship Troopers. It has a lot of that vibe, and the original does. So I'm super excited to see what the fuck they do with a modern day Running Man.
I have not seen my uncle in a long time. My Uncle Jack, I miss him. He was great. When I was a young kid, he was my movie buddy, and he'd always take me to see movies. And the movies he took me to see for such a young age probably shouldn't have happened. I think I was like 8, and I probably around, what year did this come out? What time? Do you know what year Running Man came out?
I probably could have told you, but I don't remember. I'm going to guess and say
86, 87.
87.
Yeah. So I was like 8 years old roughly, and my uncle took me to see it, and I was like, whoa. Like, I already seen Night of the Living Dead by this point, but it was still like, that was a whole different level. The ice skating, see the hockey one? The hockey dude?
So good.
Oh.
Yeah, so good.
But good pick.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see what they'll do with this.
I'm excited, and I've not seen anything on this film other than I know it's coming this year, and there's not been any trailers dropped or anything.
No,
so
I haven't
it's
seen
like,
anything yet.
but just the idea that we're getting a Running Man movie, a new Running Man movie, I'm excited for. So I want to know. I think they could take this in a really cool direction.
Maybe.
Possibly.
It could be horrible, but it could be amazing too. So my number 5 is I'm a huge John Wick fan. I loved the Continental. I loved all the John Wick movies. I like movies that are in the same vein as John Wick. So this year we're going to be getting a spinoff from John Wick called Ballerina, and that is my number 5. I'm pretty excited to see this. Pretty excited to see where the franchise goes. Keanu Reeves is in this one. It's just a small moment, I think, but the focus is around this female assassin, if you will, and Ballerina's going to be it. So I'm excited about it. That's going to be coming out June 6th.
And this is actually one I have on my honorable mentions. Was
Okay.
not in my top 5, but it was on my honorable mentions, and for the same reason. I love the John Wick films, and honestly, I'm probably going to upset you with this statement, but I did not watch Continental. So I don't know. I did not watch Continental. I wanted to, and for whatever reason, I keep forgetting that exists, and I never went back and watched it.
Let's put it this way. Every time, because I'm a huge younger Mel Gibson fan, every time Mel Gibson has an outburst and things hit the shit, I'm always thinking a little less of him, you know? And he did such a great job in Continental that I was like, the movie was solid, I felt.
Well, the thing...
Our series.
A lot of people, because of his outburst and a lot of things that he's said or done, or he's pissed a lot of people off. I've always been a massive Mel Gibson fan, and I tend to love a lot of Mel Gibson movies. And honestly, one of my all-time favorite franchises, and everybody who's watched this podcast knows, one of my favorite franchises,
Mad Max. I'm right there with you. Yeah.
So, like, I hold Star Wars here, and honestly, Mad Max is literally just below Star Wars for me. That's how much I love the Mad Max world.
I was so excited. So my son, my 12-year-old, not a lot of the same interest because the generational divide, right? But he loved seeing Fury Road. I loved it. And so I'm like, Noah, you got to watch Beyond Thunderdome. You'd really like it. And he gives a little backstory about Mad Max. And I got to explain to him the whole George Miller mindset of each Mad Max story is its own, kind of making him into a legend in this, it's telephone tag.
Yeah, it's basically somebody else telling the story of Max, and it's like a narrative of the escalation of the legend.
So while you see the same character, when George Miller explained that, though, it made complete sense for me to see Hardy play Mad Max or Furiosa take over at one point. You know, those moments, like, it's a legend, it's an idea, it's a concept. You don't know what this person really looks like. It's the mystery. Noah even came downstairs and he grabbed my video game, my Mad Max PS4.
That game is so good.
Yeah.
I love that game.
So I was shocked and happy.
Yeah, I had that, and I ended up getting rid of it. You know, because back when I was still like trading in for GameStop for credit, you know, after I'd beat a game, and now I'm like going back and rebuying a lot of my old games that I loved like that, and that was one that I have in my Amazon list I have not rebought, was the Mad Max PS4 title.
We've been on a big kick talking about physical media and reacquiring it because it seems to be going away and we're scared. So one of the scores I got at one of my toy events this past week was and they're both in minty condition. It is Buried Alive and The Howling on VHS.
And you know The Howling is out of fucking print, and it's like, dude, you can't even watch The Howling.
VHS minty.
The thing with The Howling, you can't even watch it on streaming. You can't buy it on streaming.
Well, not on streaming, but I found a decent price for The Howling 1 through 3.
Yeah,
Blu-ray.
You can find the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray, I believe, is out of print right now, though, because I think there's some kind of licensing issue with that film right now.
There's always someone selling
yeah.
it.
You can stream Howling 2 and Howling 3. You can stream Howling whatever, but Howling 1 cannot stream it, and I'm pretty sure the Blu-ray is out of print, which sucks because the original Howling is so fucking good.
Oh yeah, it is.
So fucking good.
What's your 4?
My number 4, and this is one I don't know a lot about, but recent word of mouth and the trailer just got released, and I'm kind of excited for this. And I threw it at my number 4 because I'm like, yeah, I'm really digging wanting to go watch this. Death of a Unicorn.
I've seen the trailer for this. I know what you're talking about, and it does look really good.
So yeah, after the trailer dropped for this, and the trailer dropped for this pretty recent.
Who's the female lead in this?
I could have told you that, and now I can't remember. But
because I remember in the trailer seeing her, I'm like, oh, she's gonna knock this one out of the park.
Yeah, it's let me pull it up. So yeah, it's basically Jenna Ortega. Yeah. I don't know why I couldn't think about that, but yeah, it stars Jenna Ortega, Paul Rudd's in it, Richard Grant's in it, Will Poulter, the guy that played oh God, what's his name? He played Guardians of the Galaxy 3, gold guy.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. He was frick. Oh my God, it's gonna drive me nuts.
And everybody's yelling
Sentry?
at me.
No. Yeah, no.
No. Adam Warlock. Jesus,
Adam Warlock.
I could not think of it.
I mixed up.
Yeah, Adam Warlock. He's in it. Like the cast is great. And as soon as I saw Richard Grant, I was like sold for this movie. I love Richard Grant. And you're going to hear me talk about him again at some point in another episode, because I'm a fan of his. But yeah, Death of a Unicorn. This in the title. I mean, it's kind of what it's about. It's about the death of a fucking unicorn. And it escalates from there.
It does. The trailer's pretty. It gives away a little bit. So essentially, it looks like they almost hit and kill with their car. I'm guessing.
Yeah, it looks like they hit it like they would a deer.
And they put it in their car, and it comes back alive. But then Mama's looking for it, and it goes from there. And these people have to try and get away from Mama because she's something else.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about this film until like a week ago when the trailer dropped.
Yeah,
So it was like literally as soon as the trailer dropped, and I was putting this list together, and I was like, fuck, I can't believe I just heard about this film, and this is already in my top 5 most anticipated. So
if whatever trailers are available after we air this episode, whatever trailers are there, we'll try and get those out to you guys. But that one's definitely a good trailer if you haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Your number 4.
My number 4 is 28 Years Later. And it was funny too because we recently, or I don't know what order it'll come out in, but we did a Skeleton Crew episode of Star Wars. My daughter sent me somebody pieced together an Empire version of the trailer from 28 Years Later with the boots on the ground. They did that with the Empire. And I was like, oh, like that made Star Wars so much cooler in that little moment. But I was really happy my daughter sent that my way. But the trailer, oh my God, the trailer for this got my blood boiling. I was so excited. It almost, from what I'm gathering from the trailer of this, it looks like from part 2 where they got onto the island. It seems like it's going to stem from that island almost, maybe. Yeah. I'm guessing. I don't know. There's a lot of speculation in the first trailer it dropped where there is a corpse that comes up out of the grain or the dead weeds, whatever, but the corpse pops up and everyone's like, oh, that's Cillian Murphy. That's his cameo. I don't know what Cillian's role is going to be, but
he's going to have a bigger role.
Yeah, he's not that zombie is like some fashion designer from France or something. The guy who played that zombie came out and said it.
Yeah.
But the trailer looks so good. And isn't the dude who played Craven, isn't he one of the characters in this, I believe, as well?
Yeah, the guy that played Kick-Ass. He played in played Quicksilver in Avengers.
Yep. Yeah, so he is it seems like he's the main protagonist in this. I don't know where Cillian will come in. I don't think they're really going to give us much until this movie comes out. But on June 20th, we'll know because that's when it's going to drop.
So here's the thing with 28 Years Later. This is my number 2.
Oh, really?
This is my number 2 most anticipated. So this
we
is
have a lot of crossover.
this is
Oh shit.
one of my favorite films of all time. It's definitely within probably the top 5 or top 10 of all time films for me, which was 28 Days Later. So 28 years later, I'm fucking excited about. And you guys have heard me talk many times in the past how big of a Danny Boyle fan I am. Literally, you were coming in, I was watching Trainspotting, which is a Danny Boyle film.
Yeah.
And 28 Days Later is a Danny Boyle film. 28 years later is a Danny Boyle film.
I walked in, looked over, and just saw you and McGregor in the tracksuit. I'm like, Trainspotting? He's like, yep.
I'm a massive Danny Boyle fan. Like his film Yesterday, Sunshine.
I fucking love that movie.
Danny Boyle is one of those directors. He has, in my eyes, has never done a bad movie. And so the excitement that I have for 28 years later is fucking up there. Like I am ready for this movie. I have been ready for this movie for a long time. And so, yeah, anything Danny Boyle is doing, I'm going to watch it. So, and 28 Days Later, I don't know where it would show up in a top 5 or a top 10 list, but it would definitely be within a top 10 of my favorite films of all time, and would definitely be in the top 5 horror films of all time.
Would more specifically than that, let us know in the comments if you guys would be interested in us doing a top 5 zombies film or rating, because I think that'd be cool to do too. So that definitely would fall in there for me as well. And 28 Days Later, and I hope to God this song is in 28 years later, but In the House in a Heartbeat is one of my favorite eerie songs and soundtracks, like background score, if you will, to any film I've seen, because it just got this like escalation, this heartbeat, this, I don't know, it's got that eerie everything. I love it. But yeah. All right. So,
all right. So
number 3.
Your number that was my number 4. Or no, that was
my number 4, and then you said it was your number 2.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I'm getting confused because, yeah.
Well, this one will throw us. This one will put us back into perspective. Oh, you didn't do your number.
I'm doing my number 3 now.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
So my number 3, and Predator, Badlands.
This is my number 2.
So yeah, this is on the list because obviously Predator. I love the Predator films. Obviously, you guys, we did an episode on Prey. That was my pick. The original Predator, Prey. I don't know when Prey 2's coming. If Prey 2's coming this year, then Prey 2 would be added to this as well. But
same for me with, because I don't have a date on it, but Alien Earth. If that's this year, then same.
So Prey 2, I'm not sure if Prey 2 is coming out this year, but it's coming as well. But I do know Predator Badlands is coming out this year, so it is my number 3 for no other reason other than Predator.
Okay.
Period.
Period. My number 3 goes back kind of in line with my number 5. Anything that's kind of a spin-off or a similar movie to the John Wick series I'm a fan of. And Better Call Saul did it very well with a movie called Nobody. And so this year on August 15th, we're getting Nobody 2. And I'm excited to see that because I went into that movie with very little expectation or hoping. I just didn't know if it would be good or not. And it ended up just knocking my socks off. It was great. I loved it. I like that. I like Atomic Blonde. I like, what's the cherry, whatever one from Netflix. There was another one that was kind of like in those veins. It's got the redhead from Doctor Who, Cherry Bombshell or something like that.
Yeah, I know some, but I don't think I watched that one.
Yeah, so like any of the movies that kind of have that same fighting style, assassins, this type of thing is amazing to me. I love them. So Nobody 2.
Okay. So my number 2, we're already here. And I already talked about my number 2 because my number 2 was
yes,
his 28 years later. So instead of him jumping to his number 2, which I'm looking at, and I've already mentioned, I'm going to give you an honorable mention and talk about it for a second.
Fair. Okay.
And I'm going to give you one that I've actually already watched. It's a 2025 movie. Here I am, already seen it. and it's an animated movie called Flow. And
About a cat.
it's a film about a cat. It's an animated movie that follows. It's a post-apocalyptic world where it looks the film looks like there is no humans. There is no humans in the film. So I'm assuming humans are already gone. Animals are running the world, is what it appears to be. But there is a cat living in what used to be a human's home, and it's his home now. And a massive flood takes over, or rolls over the whole world, or what is the known world you see in the film. So the cat actually gets into a boat with some other animals, and it's basically them trying to survive on this boat in a flooded post-apocalyptic world. And they befriend and help other animals, and it's so good. There's a lot more than what I'm kind of explaining. I don't want to give a lot away, but it's a 2025 movie. It's out on digital right now. It's already been nominated for, I think, like an Academy Award and whatnot. So, like, it's a beautiful fucking film. So, check it out. And this film was actually in my top 5 most anticipated. I took it out because I had already saw it, so it wasn't anticipated for me at that point. So I left it as an honorable mention. So
fair. And to that point, my number 2 was Predator Badlands, so I'll give an honorable mention in here too. I'm gonna go with Black Phone 2. Ethan Hawke was in Black Phone, the first one. A very unique and dark movie about child kidnappings and a man who's pretty twisted in his head and how he sees things. And I'm excited to see where they take this. This kind of another Ethan Hawke movie was Sinister. I loved Sinister, and I think Black Phone, he knocked it out of the park. So I'm curious to see what happens here.
yeah, my thing, I love Ethan Hawke, and I've been a fan of his since he was a kid. Like, I loved The Explorers, and a lot of the stuff he did when he was younger. But as he got older, he dove headfirst into a lot of horror films with, like you said, Sinister, The Purge, the first Purge movie, which I love that first Purge movie.
Yeah, the first one was
with Ethan Hawke. What was it? Daybreakers, the vampire film that he did. Like, there's so many horror films that he's dove into over the past 20 years. That Black Phone, I enjoyed Black Phone. I liked it. I almost put that on my list as an honorable mention, but I left Black Phone 2 off. Just because I don't know enough about the sequel yet to be excited for it, other than I did enjoy the first film. But yeah, I could be interested. I'm going to wait until I see some more on it, but did not make an honorable mention for me.
Okay. Does that mean we're moving into number 1 already? Or do we do honorable mentions, the rest of our honorable mentions before 1?
Yeah, let's just go ahead and hit some. How long? What time do we have? Where are we at on time?
We are at.
Oh yeah,
we got plenty of time.
We got plenty of time before we give you our number ones. And I believe, because I've already glanced, I'm sure you glanced. I believe we actually have 2 separate number ones. So
yes.
So we'll get back to that.
And mine's going to be surprising because you probably wouldn't expect it out of me. But anyways, one of my honorable mentions, I can't remember the name of right now, but I think you and I were talking about this recently. It's a movie that either just came out or is about to come out, and the ocean basically pulls back.
This is on my honorable mentions.
What is that movie?
It is called Survive.
Survive.
It is an international film. It is out. You can. I don't know if it's getting a theatrical release in the States, but it's an international film, and it is out on digital now. But basically, like, the poles shift in the world, and the oceans, basically all the water moves to mainland, and the ocean's empty, and people are on the ocean trying to survive, and you have, looks like man-eating crabs and all kinds of shit, and they're trying to get from their shipwrecked boat to a sub before the water comes back.
I think what's scary about this for me is that there's been talks of a polar shift anyways, that they thought these things were going to happen, doomsday times, 2012, all these things. So the fact that we only have X amount of percent of the ocean that we know about, and we know we've only discovered X amount of species as well, when the water pulls back and you've got just what's the bottom of the ocean and these giant, like, we don't know, there could be anything down there. It's creepy as hell. And the other aspect to this is too, I don't if any of you guys have seen this, so all the billionaires in the world and trillionaires, they are essentially buying specific real estate. And when you map out there, I went down the rabbit hole one night. Forgive me for a conspiracy moment, but we're going to do it. They map out basically all of the areas of real estate that these billionaires have purchased. And when you put the doomsday map over this, where all the water will go up to, it basically leaves just the land areas these billionaires have purchased. So it's kind of creepy. But yeah, I'm genuinely intrigued by this movie. This movie has every bit of my attention. I can't wait to see it. I'm very excited about it.
Yeah, and I'll be seeing this one soon because you can buy this on digital. So
cool.
I will be seeing this one pretty soon.
Do you want to go back and forth, or do you want to just lay them out?
Well, I'll kind of do a little bit of back and forth.
All right, go ahead.
I think this one's not going to be a surprise for some people that I'm excited about. This is going to be kind of more of a mainstream one. Karate Kid Legends.
I have it on my list.
I'm super excited for Karate Kid Legends.
How are they going to do this?
Well, the trailer's already been released.
I know the trailer's released, and it confused me even more because Jackie Chan's in it.
Yeah, and he played Mr. Miyagi in the reboot. However, my question is, I think he's still going to play Mr. Miyagi,
but how? Because LaRusso's in it.
I think that his Mr. Miyagi is a different Mr. Miyagi, maybe a distant relative of some sort. I think is what I feel like that's how they're going to play it, and it'll make sense.
So I only have it on my list because I'm hopeful for it.
I'm hopeful.
I want to see this do well.
I want to see more Johnny Lawrence, and not seeing Johnny Lawrence in the trailer for Karate Kid Legends is very much a letdown. So I'm just throwing that out there, but I'm excited for it.
There's this little show on TV called, I think it was like How I Met Your Mother. Is a little show. You would know it, but
it was a sleeper hit.
But Johnny Lawrence, he was on that. So I feel like he would come on our show because our show is so much larger than that little sleeper hit.
Yeah.
So if you're listening, Johnny, we want you. Anyways.
You're my favorite guy. I even own Python. I'm throwing this out there right now. I own the film Python because you're in it.
Oh,
you're in it, guy. And it's fantastic. You're a star.
Yeah. I don't know what to do with that one. I'm sorry.
That's no joke. I own Python, and I generally love the movie Python, and he plays it. He's the main star.
If you come on our show, I promise I'll keep him distance 6 feet, okay? Because he just got creepy.
It's fair. It's fair.
All right. All right, so
what you got?
I'm going to go with Tron Ares next.
That is on my list
Ares,
as well.
Ares, I don't know. I'm guessing it's Ares, but
Ares.
So Tron, the original movie, was amazing. I loved Tron growing up. I think it was spectacular. And then when we got the new Tron, I was very happy with it. A lot of people weren't. I thought it was great. I thought it gave all the right nods, did all the right things it needed to do. I was pleasantly surprised. So the fact that we're getting another one, it makes me really happy because I thought that was getting shelved and done. So just happy to see that happening.
It's on my honorable mentions because I love Tron. I love the second Tron. My thing with Tron though is I feel like Disney kind of gives up on this series, and then all of a sudden, let's pull Tron back out. Let's try again with Tron.
Willow.
Yeah, Willow. Yeah. So Tron, to me, could have been so good, and I was so excited for the setup that they left us hanging with after the last film, for them to scrap it and to leave us hanging for over 10 years now, and so that is why Tron is actually in my honorable mentions and not in my top 5, is because of Disney fucking me on Tron. Fucking me on Tron, and I'm mad about it, but I'm excited about it. So I'm I'm going to watch Tron Ares because I love Tron.
Fair.
You got any more? I got a couple more.
I got one more.
Okay, go ahead.
No, you're next.
Oh, okay.
Mine.
Well, I've got a couple more, but let's see. I'm going to do a little bit of a two-parter because I feel like they coincide with each other, but they're two separate films. Del Toro's Frankenstein.
I haven't seen it, or I haven't heard about it.
Yeah, it's Del Toro is doing his version of Frankenstein. So, I mean, everything he does directing-wise, I mean, you got Pan's Labyrinth, you got Hellboy, you got all these great films that he's done. I'm excited to see what he does with Frankenstein.
You got to say the first name, man. I was thinking Benicio del Toro is going to be Frankenstein.
I can never pronounce it, so I also always
I can't pronounce it.
Yeah, see, that's why I just say Del Toro. So I am super excited to see what he does with Frankenstein. The two-parter on this, though, is the movie coming out this year called The Bride. You seen this one?
No.
This one is on Frankenstein as well. It's called The Bride. Christian Bale is playing Frankenstein, and it's about the bride of Frankenstein. And
wasn't Christian Bale Frankenstein at one point and something else?
He might.
I don't remember. I thought he might have been.
Maybe. This movie. I'm so the whole Frankenstein thing. I'm actually pretty excited about. Yes, we got Wolfman this year. I was not excited. It's in the theaters right now as we're filming this, and I was not excited for that new Wolfman. I love the last remake of the Wolfman, which we talked about on our remake episode. Actually, you wasn't on that one. It was me and Rick.
That's when Rick came on.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So on that episode, me and Rick had talked about.
It's so weird. I don't even feel like I've missed an episode, and I had a lot going on that week.
And me and Rick did the remake episode, and I had talked about the Wolfman that came out with Benicio del Toro that I loved. So I'm not excited about the new Wolfman, but with the Frankensteins and the Bride, I'm really excited for those.
All right. My last honorable mention, there's a couple more I could probably pull out, but as Megan 2.0. And the reason why I chose this and put this on the list is because I did enjoy Megan. It took me a minute to watch it, but when I finally got around to it, I was like, this is pretty cool. But then somebody that we all know, JP, convinced me to watch the Child's Play or the Chucky series. And I'm watching the Chucky series, and there's a moment where he's flipping through the channels and he sees the movie Megan on, and he's watching it, and he's like, she stole my moves, does that whole thing, and I'm like, this is great. So there's been talks and people toying around the idea of bringing those two together, a Megan versus Chucky type thing, and I'm here for it. So I like these kind of crossover things, and I don't know if that's ever going to come to fruition, but we won't know until we get more of movies like this, like Megan 2.0. So
yeah, and Megan, I enjoyed the first one, especially considering it was a PG-13 movie. So I mean, if for what you thought it would have been a rated R, but yeah, I'm gonna throw a curveball for my last one that I have listed.
This is your number one, or
no? This is just my last honorable mention. I'm gonna throw a curveball. Freakier Friday.
What?
I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see Jamie Lee Curtis and Lindsay Lohan come back and do a new Freaky Friday.
Are you
film.
fucking serious right now?
I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be great. No, I'm excited to just go watch. I'm not even going to go to the theater and watch this, but I want to see this. I want to see Lindsay Lohan succeed in life, and she had such a hard run of it, and to see her come back and the turnaround for her and Jamie Lee Curtis come back for this, I think it's going to be fun.
I just wonder how many times he's going to say Lohan. Lindsay Lohan. Lohan. You make me think of Big Trouble in Little China every time you say Lohan. I just feel like
Lopan?
Yeah. In other news, he's also equally excited for in a few weeks, on February 13th, the new Bridget Jones will be out.
I never saw Bridget Jones.
No, you know what? I do have, I guess, another honorable mention, because I'm looking through some of these, this list of these things coming out, and I am kind of excited for Captain America: Brave New World. I didn't want to put any hero movies on this, really, but I'm excited to see Harrison Ford as the Red Hulk. I'm excited because I feel like they did it well from the trailer, so I'm excited about that aspect.
It didn't make any honorable mention for me. It didn't make my number one. We haven't talked about our number ones yet, so
No, fair.
but it did not make my number one. Didn't make my honorable mentions. I'm going to watch it, and maybe in a lot of ways, I probably should have at least had it on an honorable mention, but I didn't, just because for whatever reason I'm not excited about the new Captain America. And which is odd because I'm one of the people that kind of praised Falcon Winter Soldier. I kind of campaigned for people to watch that, and I really, really enjoyed Falcon Winter Soldier. So that being said, you would think I would probably be pretty excited for Captain America. However, Marvel has, man, the only thing they've got me excited for is Daredevil, but movie wise, I'm just not excited for really much of anything right now with Marvel. I don't know what else to say about that other than they've kind of burnt me with some of their more recent phases, and I've kind of lost a lot of interest in their films. I'm going to watch them, and I hope as I watch some of them, they regain my trust. You know, is kind of, I think is where I'm at with it.
JP's explanation just was 28 years later.
28 years later. Yeah.
I'll throw in two more quick ones. Until Dawn, Forgot About You, and also the new Final Destination movie is coming out this year.
I forgot about Until Dawn, and honestly, that may have made my top 5. And I don't know why I forgot about it.
I was just looking at this list, and there's like a few others I'm looking at. I'm like, oh god, there's some really good, solid movies coming out. There's specifically one that got my attention, which I didn't know anything about, called Ash. And the only reason I clicked on it was because I was hoping that maybe it's Ash from Evil Dead, and we got something good. But it's described as first look at teaser for Flying Lotus's next film, Ash, trippy sci-fi horror. So it's right up our alley. So.
Yeah, I forgot about Until Dawn, and that was one I wasn't excited for until the trailer came out like a week ago, and I was like, fuck, that looks good.
Yeah.
That looks so fucking good. So, all righty, we ready for number ones?
Sure.
We've made you guys wait for our number ones because we've kind of went through this pretty quick. As a lot of you will know, I am a massive DC fan. And one of my favorite comic book heroes is, well, my top 2 comic book characters of all time. My favorite comic book character is the Green Lantern. My second one is Superman. This year we've got Superman coming out. There is a version of Green Lantern in this Superman. So this is my number 1, is the fucking
There's two versions in this one, from my understanding. We just didn't see the other one in the trailer.
We'll wait and see. We only know for sure that there's one.
Right.
So
I believe they've cast Jon Stewart for his own movie, or he's
they casted Hal and John for the Green Lantern Corps. So that's being filmed. That's already been in production. So yeah. So we're already getting those two on top of Guy Gardner, that with Nathan Fillion. So I'm super excited for a new Superman film. I'm here for it. I'm here for the beginning of James Gunn DCU. I'm here to get, I'm excited for a new Superman. I'm excited to see some Green Lantern stuff. Hopefully some good Green Lantern stuff. I love the look. People were complaining about the look of the Guy Gardner Green Lantern with Nathan Fillion. I love it. I think it's fantastic. He looks just as ridiculous as Guy Gardner looks in the comic books.
He's supposed to look that way.
He's supposed to be that.
It's so funny when you don't get comic accurate. You get, oh, they're not comic accurate, and when you do it, oh, that looks fucking weird. I can't take it. It's like, make up your mind, people. Yeah. People like to complain about everything. Just enjoy it. Just let yourself enjoy it.
But Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, God, this so much looks so good about this film for me.
Are you ready? I'm not excited for this.
What?
I'm not excited.
It was even filmed in Cleveland.
So that part I'm always excited for. You have that. You've got one of the Spider-Mans. You've got the Winter Soldier from Captain America. You've got so many good hero movies that have been filmed
Some
in Cleveland.
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, I said good hero movies. But anyways, no. I'm all about those scenes, and I even got to, in a small way, be part of some of that with some of the drone footage that was happening throughout Cleveland during the shoot. So, and we got to host and stage some things for them too at the place I work. But that aside, I'm concerned about it. I'm not happy about it. I want to see Superman. I hope it's done right. I'm just concerned that they're trying to repeat past mistakes by hurrying too much into a small window of a movie with too many characters. I'm guessing the approach is that we already know all of their story arcs, we already know who they are, and that we go into this just right off the rip. It just hits.
What James Gunn says, he's not retelling a backstory on Superman. He's hitting it off the jump. He's going off the gate wide open. That Superman's established.
That's good. However, I'm still concerned about this for now. Now, I'm going in as open eyes. I'm happy to see the movie in the theater. I can't wait. I think it'll be cool to see. I just want to make sure it's executed right. So that, because like the worst thing you can have is essentially another, this is more JLA, but you have another movie with too many heroes in one thing, too much is trying to be hurried, and now you fucked up everything from the start again.
The plus side is instead we having Josh Whedon come in and ruin a superhero film like he did Justice League, you've got James Gunn, who is just so fucking good at having so many characters on screen and telling a good story. He's proved it with
Absolutely.
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Listen, Guardians is so good. I love all of the films. I have no complaints about them. I have minor, but anyways, but I like his casting so far. I like what he's laid out so far. I just hope it's executed right. The fact that Jason Momoa is Lobo, like in this DC verse now, this new one, I could not have thought of a better casting if I tried. He is it. He is awesome.
And you guys know my opinion of Jason Momoa. You know I'm not a fan of him.
I'm not.
But
I kind of am.
Let's be real. Even I can be real. He was kind of almost perfectly casted as Aquaman, but even more perfect than Aquaman,
Lobo
is Lobo.
Yeah,
and
if you don't know, if you're not a big hero movie person, you don't know who Lobo is. Lobo is certifiably a badass, and he's that kind of character that I like, where he's conflicted. So he's got these horrible moments where he's brutal as hell, and then he's got these amazing hero-like moments. So it just depends on which version you get of him.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm here for it. But yeah, no, I guess I'm not excited. I'm just worried and scared. I want it to be done right because I want this new DC verse to have a chance.
A lot of people feel the way you do, and I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. Okay. And a lot of people have heard me say this multiple times. I'm a massive James Gunn fan. I've been a fan of his since, I've got one of his vinyls behind me with Romeo and Juliet. He wrote Romeo and Juliet. Like, I've been a fan of his since he worked for Trauma Films. So I have a lot of faith in James Gunn. Not just because he did Guardians of the Galaxy, because I'm a massive fan of everything he's done between the trauma stuff, between stuff like Sliver, the film Super, then you get into the Guardians, then what he did with Peacemaker and what he did with the Suicide Squad sequel. He's good.
So Peacemaker season 1, when they go into season 2, they're going to fix the ending cameo. Apparently they're going to explain that or something. And Peacemaker season 1 and the Creature Commandos will be part of this new DC thing.
Yeah.
So I did enjoy Peacemaker season 1. I don't know where they're going to go from there, but I did enjoy it.
And that, to me, that's James Gunn taking not even a B comic book character, taking like a C, D, or F comic book character and making
nobody
him great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess we didn't see that coming.
I see what you did there.
Or you don't see.
Or I don't.
Oh, John Cena.
Can't see me.
All right. My number 1. So my wife and I really geek out in these films. And I have not seen any trailers or anything about it. I don't know anything about what's going to happen there, but it is supposedly the final in the series of the Conjuring movies. It's called Conjuring Last Rites. It's supposed to come out September 5th, later in the year. I, for one, am super excited about this because I had a crazy experience at the Amityville house, which I'll share for another time, or save to share for another time. And we went there directly, and a lot of what was happening in the Conjuring series seemed to be leading towards Ed and Lorraine going to the Amityville house, or I don't know if it's already happened. I don't know. I hope that's the path they go, but in any case, seeing closure come to the series and will be cool. I'm excited for it.
So here's the thing. I'm not. Just like you were on the fence about Superman.
Yeah.
I'm not a Conjuring fan. And
Really, they're really good.
not a Conjuring fan. Well, here's the thing. I watched the first one when it first came out, and it just wasn't for me. It wasn't the kind of horror that I like. Obviously, people know the horror that I like. I like fucking shitty fucking horrors, or I like comedy horror. I just if it's a serious horror film, it has to be something that I gravitate to that really pulls me in. Kind of like Doctor Sleep. Like Doctor Sleep, that pulled me in. The Exorcist pulls me in. The Conjuring, when I first watched The Conjuring, it just annoyed the shit out of me. I get some of the jump scares were really good in this film, and I agree that I can see why a lot of people love the series. I never gave any of the other films a chance because I just was not a fan of that original one. Now, since then, since I met my wife, and she's a massive Conjuring fan, and so she has either murder docs on or horror films 24 hours a day, every day, year round. So, but her go-tos, if she doesn't know what to put on, is always a Halloween film, a Conjuring film, or a Scream film. So I have seen all these Conjuring films since then throughout the years. And the thing is I don't know what sequence I've actually watched any of them in, because I've literally came in and watched them because she just has them on.
Now, are you talking about just the movies titled Conjuring or the spinoffs from
all of them? So I have seen all of them, but I don't know what timeline I've watched them in and what.
Well, I can tell you the order you're supposed to see,
but I wouldn't know. I still wouldn't know. But I have seen them, but I'm just not a big fan. There's some that I've watched. I've been, okay, that one was all right. That one's okay. But I don't even know which ones they are.
I think that's the reason why I'm so ingrained in this, is because they do such a great job at conveying the story and keeping a story relevant, all tying it in. So like you've got obviously Annabelle. People have seen Annabelle. That came from this. The Nun and La Llorona. Basically, those are all tied into the Conjuring and universe. And the way that they execute these, to me, is pretty brilliant. There is a scare factor. There is an element of things happening, but I don't know. It's just something that pulls me in and makes me want to keep watching it and make sure I have no light on in the house while I'm watching it and enjoy it.
Yeah, you're not the only one. I mean, all of those are a massive hit. I mean, a lot of people, a lot of people look at me like I'm crazy. Even my wife, they're like, I can't believe you're just not a fan of this. And it's just, I don't know. I think at the time there's so many those types of films that were coming out,
and that's fair.
And it just got oversaturated that I was like, I don't want to watch it.
The oversaturation one, to me, that bothered me and really started annoying me after the first one was Paranormal Activity. Those ones annoyed the shit out of me.
Yeah, I watched all those, and the only one I didn't like was the last one. But yeah, I had fun with them, but I get it.
No, I think I would have enjoyed it better if it wasn't cam footage. It's hard. It's hard to watch those.
I put those off because after they got really popular, I was like, I never watched any of them, and I was like, I don't get it. I don't get the cam footage. I don't get why these are popular. And it's been in recent years, I maybe the past 5, that I finally was like, you know what, I'm gonna watch these. I want to know what the hype is. Why are these so fucking popular? And so I started at the beginning and just started watching through. And man, I enjoyed them. I like the first 2 or 3. I was like, man, these are good. But now the last one, I can't remember what it's called now, but that one I didn't care for. I was like, man, this is stupid. This sucks. I don't care. But yeah, I actually enjoyed those for whatever reason, and I didn't think I would.
Yeah, no, I'm excited for all the movies we've discussed, actually, and I've got to write down Survive here so I make sure I don't forget about that one too, because I forgot that name. But yeah, I think we've had a good run here, and I'm excited for 2025 in film.
Yeah. So
And this and mind you, sorry, this list that we have is pretty much pulled off of what's just online. Like the level of and the number of independent film that we'll see come out this year, it's going to bring so much more to the table. So this is just the beginning, and we'll do a follow-up episode on this towards the end of the year.
yeah, I mean, we'll have our year-end review, and I think whenever we get to our year-end review, let's see if any of these films come back up.
Hopefully in a positive way.
And yeah, it could be in a negative way. I may be talking about, guys, I'm sorry about Superman. I don't think that's going to happen, but
It's crazier things have happened. Just saying.
All righty. We're going to call it a night, I guess.
Yeah.
So remember, CineNerdsPodcast.com.
Send your suggestions, and thanks for putting up with us. Cheers.
Later.